Welcome to another episode of Sacred Reviews. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at another freely available RPG Maker VX game, simply known as DEViL Ender. But is this game worthy of any praise, or is it simply another forgettable title with the label of meh attached to it? I guess there's only one way for you to find out, so please stick around for a little bit more. Plot-wise, DEViL Ender is comprised of two parts. The first part is a daydream with our hero leading the charge against the final boss in order to save the world, before being awoken from his daydream to face reality that he needs to go save a friend's cat. After chasing the cat through a cave and some catacombs, you come across a classmate and decide to rescue her. As you're dragging her out, you are confronted by a vampire and have to fight for your lives. Afterwards, the game's ending finally pops up where our hero discusses his and his friend's potential as being true superheroes. All the plot of this game is covered over the course of an hour of gameplay, and while the basic gist of the plot may be rather typical, I think the more interesting aspect is what the game has to say. It becomes clear rather early on that the game is meant to be taken as more of a parody of the usual cliches found in RPGs that were originally developed for the Japanese market. The young age of the heroes and even the relationships between the characters are a clear sign of this, and the ending makes this even more obvious. Generally speaking, the game is rather standard fare for a game using RPG Maker, though that's probably to be expected since this game was part mechanics using the default characters, so it's only naturally the game would be rather average in terms of its presentation, although being average doesn't mean the game is hard on the eyes, and the game does have far more varied terrain than I expect in a game that's only an hour long. Sound-wise, the game only has a few musical numbers and sound effects to call upon, but that was probably to be expected considering the short runtime, although I will praise this game for including the ability to raise and lower the volume of the background music and so on. It's nice to be able to play a game while still being able to listen to something else, like a video review or a movie. Gameplay-wise, the game is rather standard fare for this iteration of RPG Maker, with turn-based battles with the order of actions being taken being decided by the speed of the characters. As such, the combat in this does feel rather back to basics, which may or may not be a problem for you. If you're a fan of turn-based battles, then this game will probably work out just fine. If you aren't a fan of turn-based combat, I advise looking elsewhere. Well, the only thing that exists outside the normal expected option is that your character has a second type of MP bar called a Rage Meter, which allows the character to access even more potent special abilities. But getting the rage necessary to use them largely relies on certain types of equipment, MP-consuming skills, or items, although that aspect of the combat system disappears in the second half. In fact, I'd argue the combat of the second half of the game is far more fitting for those starting out on a quest, but because of this, your options are far more limited. In short, the combat system in the first half is a bit more interesting since you have things such as elemental weaknesses and so on to consider, while the second half of the game feels more like you're starting out and are highly restricted because of this. In short, DEViL Ender is a rather effective game and easily worth a playthrough if you simply want to see a short parody of the usual cliches, or have a love for turn-based combat. Outside of that, the game doesn't have much to really offer.